You are now listening to the Pelicans Postgame Report. Flash Report.
What's up, everybody? We back at it again. Shout out to PPR, Big Q, and DC. I am Lexxah Drew, a contributor and new addition to the squad. Kudos to all the listeners. I appreciate y'all tuning in. And guess what it is, y'all? The season opener. The start of regular season is here. The wait is over. Which brings me to my topic. What are the expectations for the Pelicans? Let's start with the basics. For everyone to be available, the core more so than anything. We've seen with just a fragment of the core and the rest of the team that the Pels were a top 4 seed in the West for the month of December. And this is for last season. They juggled between the top 4 seeds and held the number 1 spot in the West for 2 weeks straight. So even though there's been changes around the league on a lot of teams as far as their rosters and everything, there's still much to have optimism about the Pels, because it showed that even with the whole team not being available, obviously Zion was available and that was a huge difference, but it still showed that the Pels can compete with the best of the best. But we need a bigger sample size of that. Now, I want to say this. The Pels have not made any major changes to their roster. So this is kind of like the same roster coming back from last season. And I say that because I'm looking at teams around the whole league, and they have improved. Their rosters have changed, and for the better. Like, I think the league is just more balanced. So the team did not necessarily improve the roster, but they didn't necessarily get worse either. In some regards, it kind of remains stagnant, but if you're looking at it from the standpoint where the core is available, most of the team is available, then that's a plus. Not to mention guys improving their games in the offseason. We can't forget about that. And the leaps that these guys can make during the season. I expect this team to compete at a high level. Now, I'm not saying that they're going to be a top 4 seed, but what I am saying is that if they are competing at a high level, they can be a top 4 seed in the West. No, the thing is, it's time for this team to come out and play with an edge, to play with a chip on their shoulder. You know, the disrespect has been real for this team. And it's time for them to show up and show out and let the whole world know who the Pelicans are. I expect Zion to be dominant, way more dominant than he was on last season. If he's playing like he was playing that last preseason game, and you have to think his conditioning is going to get better. He's going to get his legs under him even more. He's going to have more gears that he can go to. I expect for B.I. to level up on his 3-point attempts as well as his makes. The team needs it, especially with Trigger Trey out. We need him to step up in that department. Now, the team did improve in the shooting department by picking up Jayhawk, but the Pels still need help in the 3-point shooting department. And it showed during preseason. It was not good. Definitely not great. I expect CJ to be a true 2. Portland CJ is not going to be the same as Pelican CJ. It's 2 different systems. CJ really thrives on this Pelican squad being off ball, handling the ball less. And I think that's where he's most comfortable. He's even stated that. I expect this team to strongly find and solidify their identity on both ends of the floor. Preseason really screamed out identity crisis to me. It's like it was 4 different types of games, 4 different personalities. Obviously, the last preseason game was the best game, but even in that game, there were still some deficiencies that needed to be addressed. Turnovers were an issue in all 4 games, which I honestly believe they should have had like 2 more games, at least 1 more game of preseason. This team needs reps. They needed to really get their chemistry together. And I know it's preseason, but preseason is that time to prepare and to build consistency. And the team didn't show that. They didn't show consistency. They clearly needed those reps, needed to build chemistry, needed to get used to the new offense and as well as the defense. And we didn't see all of that put together. I think the only consistent thing was the turnovers, to be honest. And I don't know if we're trying to embrace turnovers with this team. Look, I expect this team to get off to a great start for the season opener. This team has had so many poor starts, it's not even funny. We got to get off to a great start, though. Not just for the season opener, but for the regular season. We got to shoot out the blocks. Like, this is literally do or die. We have to get off to better starts with better energy, high energy, ready to compete at a high level. I expect that from this team. Like I said before, this team has dealt with a lot of disrespect. It's time to change that. It's time to send a message. This team has been dealing with this for way too long. Like, it's at the point where it's personal. It literally is personal. It's time to buy into winning at a high level. And I know it's the start of the season, but sometimes, you want to look at the grand scope of things. So, excuse me for my expectations, long-term expectations for the team. But look, like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Put down in the comments what you all expect from your New Orleans Pelicans. I am Lexxah Drew, and I'm out, y'all.
Subscribe now and stay up to date for all things New Orleans Pelicans.